Good afternoon. I'm Ben Willis, and thank you for joining me on Across the Fence. Each year, this show has the honor of announcing the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year, an award presented by the New England Green Pastures Program and UVM Extension, which recognizes excellence in dairy farming. This year's winner is located in Addison County, where 3 generations work side by side. Overlooking the railroad tracks in New Haven, Vermont, sits Railview Dairy, the 2026 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. The farm is owned by Phil and Diane Livingston. They first started farming here in 1985.
Yeah, it's funny. I've only heard about this farm even when I was in high school, because there's a lot of land here. Never once came down this road until we decided to rent it. I met the owner of this farm buying hay off him, and I kind of casually told him one day, you might be interested in renting that farm if you ever want to. And he said, well, let's see if we can agree on a price. So Diane cooked dinner, and I wrote on a piece of paper what I thought I could afford, and he wrote down what he wanted, same price. How often does that happen?
Phil moved onto the farm with his wife Diane, 2 sons, and 40 cows. But those first years weren't easy.
In the January, we found out he had an aneurysm of 86, so he spent 3 months in and out of the hospital in 86. We had friends and farmers in the valley that came and helped do things, put our crops in, helped us do everything, and friends that milked cows while he was recovering. And I'd go to the hospital and come back, and the little boys would be working hard with the people that were here.
We were young. It was like 4th and 5th grade. Some neighbors came that we grew up in Bristol. It was it was tough.
We took on a lot of responsibilities at a young age. We didn't really have a choice. It had to get done. We had lots of friends and family that came and helped, but you know, I worked before school and after school.
But they kept working, and the farm kept growing. These days, Railview Dairy milks 740 cows with a total herd of over 1,500 and crops nearly 2,500 acres. But it wasn't just the dairy that grew. The Livingston family did too. Philip and his wife Dawn welcomed daughters Braley and Carissa. After Mark got married, he and his wife Dana had 2 sons, Mason and Maverick.
So the grandchildren are very important to our dairy farm. They're just wonderful because they're right into it and really enjoy it, and they're very respectful.
Like Phil before them, his sons Philip and Mark now get to work alongside their own children every day.
Yeah, it's great having them around. It's nothing better than seeing your own sons, you know, working with you. I don't say they got to follow my footsteps, but their work ethics and how they're always there to jump in and help you is, I just can't, there's no words to describe it. Just proud of them, very proud.
I think every farmer dreams of working with their kids, and I love working with them. I love being able to teach them what I do. It's a dream come true for me. Words can't describe that feeling. You know, it's just overjoyed.
The girls could have done anything they wanted. They both made their educational choices to prepare themselves to come back to the farm. Carissa went to UNH, and she has a bachelor's in business management, and she minored in dairy management. And Braley chose to go to SUNY Cobleskill, and she's studying dairy production and management.
Well, I tell you, if it wasn't for the kids, I wouldn't be here. No doubt about it. I mean, you can't run a business like this, as big as we are, on just people that are paid by the hour. Really, you just can't.
For this 3rd generation, this isn't just a family business, it's their future. And Phil's granddaughter, Carissa, was happy to show us around.
So So this is our parlor. It's a double 14 parallel, which means we can milk 28 cows at a time. It didn't always used to be this way. We actually retrofitted this parlor into this barn. It used to be a 90 head tie stall. We actually brought an excavator in here and dug a hole for this and then re-poured it.
We put the milking parlor in the barn, which for years people say we couldn't do it, but it works.
Carissa takes us next to the calves, housed just off the milking parlor. This change allowed the family to install a labor-saving calf feeding system.
We used to feed like replacer, but now we feed whole milk. And this system only works because the parlor is right next to where we have it. So it pumps the milk straight from the parlor into a tank where it gathers, and then we fill it to like a certain amount that we need each day. And then there's a pump on it and a hose system, and then we can walk around and feed the calves. When we were little, like we weren't able to feed calves, really. Because I mean, I couldn't lift like a 5-gallon bucket and carry it around without spilling or making a mess or, so this makes it a lot easier. It's also a lot less like hard on us. Like I can feed water, the kids can feed water or milk. You can feed more faster.
There's more to Railview Dairy than the milking parlor. Carissa and her sister Braylee took me across the farm to show me a pet project that's become a passion.
Well, this is our show barn. It's just an old tie stall that we converted back in like 2020. So right now we're milking 2 cows in this barn, which is like out of the ordinary. This is just where we house our heifers. We're going to a show in 2 weeks. So we brought 2 of our best cows here to try and get them ready to just work on their condition. Fill them out a little bit. We first started showing cows when I was 4 years old. It was just like a summer calf or here and there at the county fair.
And it's grown into something we've become very proud of and exhibited many national champions out of it.
They got paychecks from Railview, and then they went out and they selected animals that they wanted themselves from auctions and from friends, and they made the deals. And we didn't go to the auctions and buy the animals. Carissa went to the auctions and bought the animals. Then Braylee went to the auctions and bought the animals.
This is Yvette. She was junior champion at the national show in the fall. She's been a heifer I've taken a long time to develop and work with. I also love Swiss. I love color, but Swiss are my favorites. Because who doesn't love big fluffy ears and donkey-like attitudes? We've spent a lot of time here. We've kind of made this into a space that is our own.
Mark's son Mason has also left his mark, bringing home ideas and experience gained while traveling the country as a show fitter.
It's brought me to a lot of different places. I've met a lot of new people.
He's seen a lot of facilities, which he brings those ideas back to us on what we could do different, which is real helpful to see. So he's a big help on the farm, and I just really enjoy having him with me every day. It's a real blessing.
For the next generation, one thing is always on their minds: the future of Railview Dairy.
Pretty much the biggest conversation we have around here. I just celebrated 1 year back at the farm, back at the end of May, and my cousin Mason has been back for 2 years, full time, and my sister's coming back, and we're almost reaching that point where we're not big enough to sustain the growth of all of us and like what we want to do. Our goal is to have another barn finish by the end of the year to not only relieve some pressure of our cows currently, they're a little densely populated, but also be ready to be prepared for the future. Because we want to be bigger, we want to grow bigger, we want to sustain the growth of our family and everyone who wants to come back. And we also want to do better, be better farmers, like I think one of the biggest things we talk about is what can we do better? What can we change that would be better for not only us, but also our cows, because that's really what it's all about.
The kids have also driven innovation from cattle tags to land management techniques. In addition, the farm has added a new manure canal under their main barn, and plans are underway to build a third barn.
We got to get more cow comfort. We're overcrowded. If we can get rid of the overcrowdedness, I think that the cows will perform better. They will milk more.
And now, after 40 years, the Livingston family's dedication is being recognized.
Phil Livingston and Railview Dairy, on behalf of UVM Extension and New England Green Pastures, we would like to present you as this year's 2026 Dairy Farm of the Year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The judges were all really impressed about the youngest generation and how they've really taken ownership on the farm. And the judges were also really impressed at the farm's ability to use the existing facilities that they have in new and innovative ways, particularly their calf barn and their calf feeding system is really interesting and innovative, as well as their parlor. They've done some really interesting designs in the parlor to make it work for them in their existing space. And also just their excitement for the future of the farm. So they're expanding, they're building. So that's really exciting to see, and the judges all really thought that energy was infectious on the farm.
For Phil's son, Philip, this recognition has been a long-time dream.
I always wanted to win this award, in the back of my mind for my dad. He worked so many years without even a full day off, and so many years he just poured everything he had into this farm, and for that I'm grateful for. There isn't anybody here there's no person that you can pay to do all the things he's done. He's out here on a Sunday morning puttering around with a skid steer or something, making something better or great. That's Dad.
Family's the only ones you can really depend on, Even though some days are a little rough, but it's the way it is.
For the Livingston family, the work is never finished, and that's exactly the way they like it. In New Haven, I'm Ben Willis with Across the Fence.